Shocking developments this afternoon as the stimulus negotiations for your second stimulus check and stimulus package in the CR go off the tracks. Literally nothing is going on in the negotiations as Joe Biden calls a press conference, exhausted by the situation, hoping that something's going to happen. But is it shut down instead of stimulus checks? Meantime, Larry Kudlow says, repurpose CARES Act 1 money. Get it out. I keep on asking them to do it. The new jobs report is horrible. Millions of Americans could be unemployed in the middle of the pandemic. And even more confusing, Joe Biden says we need an eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance right now. So why are none of the plans even proposing that, let alone a stimulus check? But the good news, the great news, is that the states are stepping up to help you. States across the board are sending out stimulus checks, doing new rent protection, rent stimulus checks. New York announcing a massive rent stimulus check. San Diego, California, major states, New Mexico, $1,200 stimulus checks. Stimulus checks coming everywhere, and extension of UI benefits, extension of PUA benefits from states are being announced left and right. Suddenly, someone's getting the message. Meantime, what about us in the Purple Power? We're pushing very hard because the push to our stimulus checks or shutdown is getting closer to a shutdown. This is Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Afternoons LALATE with breaking details since just Holidays LALATE, which was a live recording. I'm just sort of shocked by where this is unfolding. And I'm really shocked, delightfully shocked, that your states just happen to have all this money sitting around and they're spending it left and right on you. Thank God. If you've not subscribed to this channel, then please do, because you understand that my focus is getting you money. It's a stimulus check. It's a state stimulus check. It's a state rent stimulus check. I don't care what you call it. It's free and it's landing in your hands, and I'm fighting to get you every single penny of it. Georgia, anything in Georgia? We thought there was nothing in Georgia. Suddenly, Georgia has stimulus checks all over the place. New York, there's no rent grants in New York. There's nothing for rent. There's no food. There's no free stimulus checks. New York is announcing rent stimulus checks. It's all developing, and we're fighting to get you this money. And so please subscribe. Please subscribe, because I'm getting viewers money right now, not 5 days from now, not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now. I've gotten viewers $300,000, and I'm not done. It may only be December 4th. I'm fighting to the very last day to get you the money right now. Not in January, but now. So please subscribe. Also, like this video. We are ranking #1 all day today because of a reason. No one's dedicated to me and you and the volunteers and the community of helping one another. Viewers are jumping into Holidays LA today and say, tell the viewers there's a new thing in New York, there's a new thing in Georgia, there's a new thing in California. That's the spirit of helping one another. Meantime, let's get to the details in this video. Coming up in this video, there's going to be a lot of stuff hitting the fan by the end of today because Joe Biden is shocked there's no progress in the stimulus negotiations. I'll tell you where they are right now. There is no bill, but there are a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk and not a lot of walk. But what could be unfolding? I'll go over those details in this video. Then I'll be getting to the money that's suddenly floating into your states and the extension of new benefits. And I'll be going over the deal provisions, which you would likely get because of an agreement so far on only that in the proposals of the CR. Next, I'll get to the money you can get right now, not 5 days from now and not 5 weeks from now. And finally, I'll go over what Larry Kudlow said about stimulus relief and also what's going on with your $2,400 SSI and SSDI. And finally, that jobs report. A lot of breaking news. And so let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is the day started with a crash of news. And the crash of news was the new jobs report. It was horrible. It was so horrible that everyone said it was horrible. Even Larry Kudlow, who appeared on CNBC, said, yeah, this number's not good. It's not good, but we're getting somewhere, but it's not good. But then Larry Kudlow repeated my exact words. I don't understand what's wrong with these congressional leaders. They should be, using his exact words, repurposing the CARES Act 1 money and sending it out right now as stimulus. Exact words of me on this channel. He confirmed that there's money at SBA, he confirmed it's PPP, and he said it's $600 billion, not $800 billion, but at least $600 billion, and that it can't be repurposed by act of Congress and should be sent out as stimulus right away. And he doesn't understand why the White House keeps on recommending to repurpose stimulus money, the prodding of this channel, the Purple Power, but that the Democrats don't want to do it. There was no explanation, and I don't have one either. He did not talk about stimulus checks, but he has said before that he wants stimulus checks. Mitch McConnell and President Trump's current position is unchanged as it was yesterday. $500 trillion, extension of UI, extension of PUA from now to December, nothing else, and we'll deal with everything in January, to the end of January, and then we'll deal with everything in January. No stimulus checks, but that there's willing to movement on certain issues, but that the president and Mitch McConnell are not supporting the moderates' plan. The moderates' plan is still unchanged. The problem solvers appeared before news every opportunity they could yesterday, and this morning taking credit for someone else's bill and saying that $900 billion is the top line, we're not going higher, and suggested they're not going to go lower either, which suggests there's no deal. As well, they also suggested that Nancy Pelosi may be coming in higher at $900 billion today, but so far she's not coming in at all with any number or any details. It comes on the news that Joe Biden says his way of doing things is not to come in with numbers, to basically say, let's agree upon deal items, and then we'll get to the numbers. Interesting, because Nancy Pelosi has still not even agreed to the deal items. So there really is almost no agreement on anything of any deal provision of any memo. There is no bill. There's 2 to 3 different memos, and there's no agreement on really anything except 2 points, which really do help you. UI would be extended to late January. PUA would be extended to late January. And that is basically all that they have agreed to. The good news for you is, as the Purple Power, the door is open for you to drive the U-Haul truck in and say, give us a stimulus check. It's inhumane to not give us a stimulus check. Give us eviction moratorium. And guess who today said you have to have an eviction moratorium now in December? Joe Biden. Why is Joe Biden saying it, but the problem solvers don't have it in there? And Nancy Pelosi doesn't have it in there. And Mitch McConnell doesn't have it in there. Why is only me, you, and Joe Biden saying it? Mortgage forbearance. Mortgage forbearance needs to be extended. Why is only Joe Biden and myself and you saying it, and it's not in any of the proposals? Now, let me make something very clear. The only person who has ever given you an eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance is the President of the United States, Donald Trump. So now we have the President of the United States and Joe Biden both saying it, but all these proposals don't even have those 3 basic things. So Purple Power, do your thing. Tag McConnell, tag his chief of staff, tag his communications director, tag each of these problem solvers and say it's inhumane for you to exclude a stimulus check when you actually had 2 stimulus checks in your prior problem solvers bill, and to not include eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance. Are you going to throw people on the street on January 1st in the thick of winter with nothing, and you're going to allow them to be evicted? Who's paying your bills? The banks? Are banks lobbying these problem solvers to get these things not put in the bill? It's starting to look a little fishy. What do you think? Drop in the comments below. I love to hear it. Now, how about the other details? $2,400 for SSI and SSDI? Yes. Not in this bill, but would come as a standalone bill in January with a 20% increase and a lifetime step up, upwards of 20%, with a step up annually based upon a new benchmark. But that would not be in this, nor would hazard pay, nor would FPUC, nor would FPUC retroactive. Those things are likely not to get into the CR. Joe Biden in the last 24 or 48 hours says he's going to give you all of those things, including $600 a week FPUC, retroactive to August in January. And he said today that what you're seeing in this bill will be something you don't like, but at least it'll keep some money in your pocket through January. Joe, a stimulus check puts money in our pocket more than anything else. Additionally, we had really good news this morning where Larry Kudlow says a stimulus check costs about $338 billion. Guess what? With $600 billion of PPP unused money, that's enough for 2 stimulus checks, let alone 1 stimulus check to get us to January. Why would Mitch McConnell, who actually starts his memo with talking about repurposing stimulus checks, repurposing CARES Act 1 money, not repurpose some money for a stimulus check? It makes sense. So tag McConnell and tag the president because ultimately they're calling the shots. So is a shutdown imminent? Not a deal. Today is the 4th. The deal has to be hatched very quickly because the bill has to be signed by December 11th. The government has shut down before. So are we shutting down? Stay with me throughout the day. After this recording is Purple. And in Purple, you're going to be so excited because I have all this great new stimulus checks that's coming out from left and right, from your cities and states everywhere. So stay with Purple, which is now sort of the free money show of this channel. Then on Being a Mitch, I'm going to go live again and answer your questions about UI and PUA and FPUC and escalate benefits. That is the new unemployment live recording, which was a massive hit yesterday because you have a lot of questions. It's confusing. It's very confusing. I'm here to answer your questions and get it sorted out for you. But let's continue with what's going on today in your states. This is really exciting. States are now doing 3 different things to help you with stimulus. 1, states are sending out stimulus checks. In some cases. 2, in some cases, they're also sending out new rent grants after they did one just a few months ago. New York, which did a rent grant in August, and we thought there's no more money, is suddenly doing a new rent grant. Upstate New York, Atlanta, states, counties in Georgia, New Mexico, Colorado, are doing, San Diego County, Los Angeles County, doing these new stimulus free money, whatever you call it, things in less than last 24 hours. Why? As I told you, it's CARES Act 1 money. It's CARES Act 1 money, and they have to December 15th, and they're finding they have an extra sum of money sitting around, and they're doing another round of things. And these things are just open for a very short period of time. So you need to stay with me, because ultimately, if you've looked within the last week and couldn't find something, things are now opening up that weren't there before. It's very exciting. Next, states are also stepping in and saying, you know what, we're not going to allow you to go off of UI or PUA. What we're doing is we're going to give you additional weeks of UI under what we call extended state benefits. States give you a certain number of unemployment weeks. Then the federal government gave you additional weeks on top of that called FPUC. Those weeks are expiring in December. But now states are saying, you know what, I don't like what's going on with Congress. They may not get this done. So we can't have our citizens on unemployed go lose all benefits and have no benefits January 1st. So you know what? We're going to give them additional weeks of unemployment benefits. And so states, whether it's Hawaii, for example, or I believe it was Illinois, are offering additional weeks of benefits to step in. And I fully believe, this is my prediction, that if you don't see a lot of action from Congress in the next few days, you're going to see a lot of states come forward and say, you know what, we're going to give you additional weeks of unemployment benefits past January. We're not going to have them lapse because we can't have you with no unemployment benefits in January. Really shocking developments. Now, if you are sitting back and saying, well, am I going to get a stimulus check before the holidays? Here is the rub. Stimulus check from legislative action through the CR, the Congressional Budget Bill, that has a deadline December 11th. We will know by no less than probably December 9th what will be in that CR if it's to become law, and if not, the government shuts down. We're going to know that. Then, Joe Biden is promising you multiple stimulus checks starting in January. Yeah, I know that's not now. That's in January. And I know it's a promise. It's not a reality. I know that is too. Third, people are asking me, will it be $2,000 a month every month for 6 months until the pandemic ends? Joe Biden today said he spoke to Senator Harris about what he wants in stimulus relief. So she's the person who wrote the bill. Why would she not support the bills that she wrote herself? It looks like it could happen. Then FPUC, $600 a week retroactive to August is what Joe Biden's promising you in January. But again, yes, that is January. So is there any money for me right now? I need money right now. That's the money right now. Let's turn to the money right now. I'm getting money for viewers right now. And I don't mean from the federal government. I need to go over one thing with you because I know it's been about 14 days since I've done this. every single one of you qualify for this money. If there's someone that says, I'm on SSI and SSDI, I don't qualify for anything, delete. It's a false comment. If someone says, I don't qualify for rent because it only qualifies for people whose rent prices is delete. That's also incorrect. There's so many people who seem to just want to sit back and say nothing applies to anything or anyone. And that's absolutely wrong. What's important to understand is that there's so much money available out there, and the hardest thing is just finding it, not believing that it's there. First, the money, where is it? New indications today about the money in different locations that we had never thought. You're looking additionally in your city hall, your county hall, your state housing authority. And after looking at your city hall, your county hall, and your state housing authority for the rent and not finding it, you may say it doesn't exist. Don't say that. I'm going to tell you why. Because some cases we've now seen that the rent is in the city housing authority. What the hell is a city housing authority? Cities sometimes have housing authorities. They also sometimes have it in the city urban development or the city low-income poverty assistance community group. These cities have organizations that are within the city that govern issues for housing, but also sometimes put it into low-income organizations that are within the city's dominion. It's ultimately the most important thing to look at how big your city is, because if your city is really small, you're going to look at the county level. But if your city is very large, you're going to keep it at the city level. Next. In some states, you may sit back and saying, and I'm going to use Kentucky, I'm going to use Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana as examples. You may say, I've done that. I did the city, county, and state housing authority. I didn't find anything. So who are these people on this channel that are getting money from Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama? They are people who found the grants, rent grants, free rent grants, 6 months, 12 months, from different organizations that are sometimes either private, religious, or political national organizations that are paying the rent grants. Again, not open forever. But I have seen viewers get $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 from Alabama, Kentucky, Mississippi, and Louisiana, even though you may not find it at the city or state level. Next, utilities. Utilities are being paid literally everywhere. So, for example, in Missouri, you may have a problem finding rent grants in Missouri if you're not in St. Louis County, which is paying them. But across the rest of Missouri, they're doing utilities nearly everywhere. LA County is another example. LA County did a rent grant in July, but doesn't have one yet. It may bring one back. But ultimately, they're doing utility assistance everywhere. Remember, this is free money. When I say the word grant, the other word for grant is stimulus. The other word for stimulus is free. The other word for free is freebie. And ultimately, when you sit back and say, I have to pay it back, there's a catch, there's a debt. No, grant means free. The word you're going to look when you call them up is, do you have any rent assistance? Do you have any utility assistance? Do you have any food assistance? Next, escalated benefits, which I'm going to cover more on being a Mitch. But the incredible great news is that escalated benefits are available in all states. That's what's important to understand. The next thing that you need to know is go to Google and look up, I haven't said this a couple days, so this is new for you if you're just tuning in today. Look up your state's maximum unemployment benefits. The reason why is because I had a very nice person from Georgia reach out to me, and she said, I'm currently getting the maximum unemployment benefits in my state. How do I do escalated benefits? The answer is you can't. You're already at the maximum. There's nothing that's like Toy Story. There's nothing of beyond infinity except infinity beyond. It's just there's nothing else there. Meantime, a person in Texas reached out to me and said, Texas said the maximum weekly benefit's $100 a week. Tell the person on the phone from your unemployment department in Texas that the maximum Texas benefit is about $500 a week. So that's very incorrect. Ultimately, it's important for you to know what the maximum benefits are in your state. Look them up online. It's a Google search. It comes up immediately. And you just type in, what's the maximum unemployment benefits of my state? and it comes up immediately as the first result. You need to know this because ultimately that's what you're shooting for. Finally, EIDL. Please get the EIDL, and please bring your EIDL questions to be in a Mitch. I answer your questions on that, but I want you to be reminded to please get those in as quickly as possible, your EIDL applications, because I think it's not going to be around past December 15th. It takes about 3 days to process it. This is December 4th, so you don't want to wait till the last day. The money may not be around in a few days. Oh, and then there's this. Here we go. So thank you for joining me, and you'll see this somewhere in the set in the next couple days. This is Afternoons LALATE.